Zamri and you're watching News at 10. Our headlines for tonight: Malaysia and Cambodia looking to enhance cooperation and bilateral ties. Inflation levels in the country has reached more stable levels. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim has expressed appreciation to his Cambodian counterpart Hun Sen for the latest support in bringing back Malaysians victim on a job scam syndicate in Cambodia. Datuk Seri Anwar, who is on a one-day official visit to Cambodia, described Hun Sen's leadership as outstanding in giving full support and collaboration in resolving the job scam issue. To date, 287 Malaysian victims of a job scam in Cambodia had successfully returned home.
Cambodia under your leadership is quite outstanding in terms of giving fullest support and collaboration in these efforts. So thank you very much, because it means a lot to the hundreds of families affected by this scam.
He said this in a joint press conference after a bilateral meeting with Hun Sen at the Peace Palace today. It has been reported that the Ministry of Foreign Affairs had received 572 reports involving Malaysians who are victims of job scam syndicates abroad as of 20th of February. The reports were received through the Malaysian embassies in Bangkok, Phnom Penh, Vientiane and Yangon. Malaysia and Cambodia are looking forward to enhancing cooperation in investment, halal industry, digital technology, education and defence to further strengthen bilateral ties between the two countries. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim said these issues have been discussed and are among the priority raised during a bilateral meeting held at Peace Palace in Phnom Penh today.
On the specific issues like the halal industry, which Malaysia has quite developed, and it would give opportunity for both Malaysia and Cambodia to use this facility in order to encourage and facilitate export to Muslim countries, in particular the Middle East.
He said this in a joint press conference with Cambodian Prime Minister Hun Sen during his one-day official visit to Cambodia. This is Datuk Seri Anwar's maiden visit to the country, made at the invitation of Hun Sen. Bilateral relations and cooperation between Malaysia and the Indo-Chinese country were established in 1957. On another note, Datuk Seri Anwar also spoke of the success of rice production in Cambodia, where he would encourage Malaysian rice companies catering to the import of rice to consider the option of importing rice and cashew nuts from the Indo-Chinese country.
The Prime Minister mentioned the success of rice production, which is something commendable, although you say there is surplus, but I know for a fact that rice production is not something easy, but you have increased the productivity, and I think I would certainly encourage the Malaysian rice company that caters for import of rice to consider an option to import rice and cashew nuts from Cambodia.
Both countries, according to Datuk Seri Anwar, have also agreed to utilise the availability of bamboo in Cambodia by getting investors to help in processing and exporting it. The national inflation rate could reach a projected 3.1 to 3.3% this year if the monthly inflation rate remains subdued. Economic Minister Rafizi Ramli in a press conference today said that since December 2022, the country's inflation rate has reached a more stable level. He said about 6 months, the highest level in September 2022 was at 4.5%. Based on other figures published by the Department of Statistics, the science showed the nation was passing the peak of the increase in the price of goods.
Sudah tentu ini bergantung juga kepada perkara-perkara yang di luar kawalan kita. Contohnya kalau ada gangguan kepada rantaian bekalan antarabangsa ataupun gangguan setempat seperti yang kita lihat bila berlaku banjir dalam 2-3 minggu yang akan datang.
At the press conference, Rafizi also announced the Kita Jaga application, which is a price tracker that can display the daily price of each item according to a specific locality. He said the Kita Jaga application allows people to buy wisely with the price data at their fingertips. Coming up next, Kelantan Customs seized over 500,000 ringgit worth of cigarettes. The Bandar Botanic Health Clinic in Klang, Selangor now operates 7 days a week, including on public holidays, as a pilot project to deal with overcrowding at the Tengku Ampuan Rahmah Hospital, HTAR Emergency and Trauma Department. Health Minister Dr. Zaliha Mustafa said the implementation of the THAR and Bandar Botanic Health Clinic Cluster Pilot Project started last Saturday as agreed upon by the Special Task Force on Emergency Reform STAR. She said through the pilot project, the clinic's operating hour is extended from 8 a.m. to 9:30 p.m. with the last patient registration at 9 p.m.
Jadi bagi menjayakan projek rintis ini, Klinik Kesihatan Bandar Botanik Kelang telah pun memanjangkan waktu operasi bagi menangani kedatangan pesakit kategori zon hijau yang mengalami gejala ringan dan kes yang bukan kecemasan di Jabatan Kecemasan dan Trauma Hospital Tengku Ampuan Rahimah. Jadi Klinik Kesihatan Bandar Botanik Kelang ini akan beroperasi 7 hari, 7 hari seminggu.
She said this in her speech at the Health Ministry's monthly assembly in Putrajaya today. Dr. Zaliha added the change in patient arrival patterns from Tengku Ampuan Rahimah Hospital Emergency and Trauma Department to the Bandar Botanic Health Clinic would be monitored during the implementation of the pilot project. Kelantan Customs, JKDM raided 2 premises in Kuala Krai and seized smuggled cigarettes worth close to 552,000 ringgit last Monday. State Customs Director Wan Jamal Abdul Salam Wan Long said the raids were carried out by the Enforcement Operations Team from the Rantau Panjang branch at 11 a.m. based on information received and surveillance carried out. Following information and surveillance, he said the raid was successfully carried out and 441,120 cigarette sticks were seized and 2 vehicles confiscated. The market value of the seized cigarettes is 174,300 ringgit, while unpaid duty amounts to 367,449 ringgit.
Modus operandi yang digunakan adalah dengan mengangkut masuk rokok-rokok tersebut dari selatan tanah air dan disimpan di suatu tempat sebelum diedarkan kepada pelanggan-pelanggan untuk pasaran tempatan.
He said this to reporters at the Rantau Panjang JKDM today. Wan Jamal Abdul Salam added that a suspect had been detained to assist investigations. The case is investigated under Section 135 in Bracket 1 in Bracket D of the Customs Act 1967. Police arrested 11 foreigners, including 7 women, after breaking up a drug-fueled private party at a luxury condominium in Bukit Mertajam on Thursday. Seberang Perai Tengah District Police Chief Assistant Commissioner Police Tan Jung Sun in a press conference today said a police team raided a unit at the condominium and arrested 4 men and a woman from China, as well as 6 Vietnamese women, all aged between 18 and 54. He said acting on complaints from members of the public and neighbours regarding suspicious activities at the house, police raided the premises at 12:30 a.m, adding that various drugs worth about 6,700 ringgit were also discovered.
Parti macam ni lah. Bila orang asing ni dah ramai di satu tempat ni, dia orang dah syak lah something is happen. Bukan pengedaran dada ataupun yang parti liar ni saja. Kita pun mengesyaki kemungkinan ada elemen lain lagi. Jadi kita tengah siasat sebenarnya.
According to Tan, preliminary investigations found that the house was rented by a 44-year-old Chinese woman who claimed to work as an online trader and had been living there for 14 years. It was believed that she invited the others to the party. He said all those arrested knew each other and entered the country using valid travel documents. All of them are now remanded for 7 days to assist investigations under Section 39B of the Dangerous Drugs Act 1952. Police did not rule out the possibility the group was involved in other criminal activities such as scam and fraud. Foreign-born, nearly 200 Rohingya refugees reached shore in western Indonesia. At least 184 Rohingya refugees landed in Indonesia's westernmost province today after they were dropped at sea by boat and made to swim ashore. Thousands of the Muslim Rohingya, heavily persecuted in Myanmar, risk their lives each year on long sea journeys, often in poor quality boats, in an attempt to reach Malaysia or Indonesia. Locals in the town of Perilag alerted police after discovering the group that officials said included 94 men, 70 women and 20 children. At least 5 were taken to hospital, while others were taken to a mosque compound for shelter, food and medical treatment. Local officials are in talks with the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, UNHCR, and the International Organization for Migration about shelter for the refugees. According to the UNHCR, more than 2,000 Rohingya are believed to have attempted the rescue journey to Southeast Asian countries in 2022. The agency estimated nearly 200 Rohingya died or went missing attempting hazardous sea crossings last year. Myanmar's junta chief Min Aung Hlaing today said lawful actions will be taken against terrorist opposition forces during a speech on Armed Forces Day to mark the 78th anniversary of the founding of its national army. The military, known as the Tatmadaw, celebrated with a parade of troops and weapons in the capital, Naypyidaw, for the third year since overthrowing the elected government of Nobel laureate Aung San Suu Kyi on 1st February 2021. Min Aung Hlaing, in his speech, urged the international community to work with Myanmar's ruling military government towards taking a stand against terrorist organizations. Meanwhile, the United States on Friday announced further sanctions against Myanmar. The U.S. Treasury Department said the decision was made to target the supply of jet fuel to Myanmar's military following airstrikes in civilian populated areas. South Korea claimed that North Korea fired 2 ballistic missiles into the sea off its east coast yesterday morning in a series of launches amid military drills by the US and South Korea. According to Japanese media, Japan's Coast Guard said 2 projectiles believed to be North Korea-fired missiles fell into waters that were most likely landed outside Japan's exclusive economic zone. Lebanese broadcaster NHK said the North Korean missiles flew to an altitude of 50 kilometers and covered a range of 350 kilometers. South Korea's military says the missiles were fired from North Hwanghae province at 7:47 a.m. The launch is the latest in a series of weapons tests by the North, including the firing of multiple cruise missiles on Wednesday that Pyongyang said was aimed at practicing tactical nuclear attacks. During a parade on 8th of February, North Korea showcased more ICBMs than ever before and hinted at a new solid-fuel weapon. The country released footage which shows as many as 11 Hwasong 17S, which are suspected to be able to strike nearly anywhere in the world with a nuclear warhead. Belarus's defense ministry today released a video showing a training exercise involving an air defense unit armed with Russian-supplied Tor M2K missiles launches. The drill came just days after Russian President Vladimir Putin unveiled plans to station Russian tactical nuclear weapons in Belarus, claiming it was a response to an announcement by the United Kingdom that it would hand over ammunition with depleted uranium to Ukrainian forces. According to Belarusian and Russian defense and industry sources, the system is capable of bringing down a variety of enemy targets, including cruise missiles, guided bombs, drones and aircraft. The delivery of the updated TOR M2K complexes to Belarus was reported in December 2022, with a new batch supplied in January 2023. Russian media reported that units operating TOR M2K were able to effectively destroy Bayraktar drones supplied to Ukraine by Turkey for use in what Moscow describes as a special military operation in Ukraine. Ukrainian sources claim their national defense forces had destroyed elements of the TOR complexes operated by Russian troops using the Turkish-supplied drones. A major strike brought much of Germany's air traffic rail service and commuter lines to a halt today as workers demand wage hikes in the face of BRICS inflation. Workers at airports, ports, railways, buses and metro lines throughout much of Europe's top economy heeded a call by the Verdi and EVG unions for the 24-hour walkout. Berlin's usually bustling central train station was mostly quiet after the National Railway cancelled long-distance and regional links across the country. Arrival and departure boards at Frankfurt Airport, the nation's biggest, and Munich Airport showed rows of cancelled flights. Verdi represents around 2.5 million public sector employees, while EVG represent 230,000 workers on the railways and at bus companies. The rare joint strike marks an escalation of an increasingly ill-tempered dispute over a pay packet to blunt the impact of surging inflation. Employers, mostly the state and public sector companies, have so far refused the demands, instead offering a rise of 5% with two one-off payments of 1,000 and 1,500 euros this year and next. Verdi is demanding a rise of 10.5% in monthly salaries, while EVG is seeking a 12% increase for those it represents. Ronaldo stands twice in Luxembourg dismantling that and more next in sports. The Malaysia under-22 football team have lifted the Malayan Cup for the first time after 41 years. The Harma Muda boys beat East Asian nation Hong Kong 2-1 in the final at the Jalan Besar Stadium in Singapore last night. After a goalless first half, Najmuddin Kamal Akmal scored the opening goal for Malaysia with a header in the 74th minute. Safwan Mazlan extended Malaysia's lead 5 minutes later. Lau Kau Kiew reduced the deficit for Hong Kong in the 80th minute. The win was marred by two red cards, with Malaysia striker Hakimi Azim Rosli and Hong Kong striker Maddox Kong sent off by the match referee. The Malayan Cup was first introduced in 1982, with Australia winning the tournament and Malaysia finishing fourth in that edition. Malaysia's professional mixed doubles pair, Goh Sun Hua and Siobhan Lai Jamie, were unable to cross the final hurdle at the Switzerland Open in Basel after going down to China's Zhang Shenbang Wei Zhezhen in 3 sets last night. Sun Hua and Siobhan lost the opening set 17-21 but came back strongly to win the second set 21-19 but lost 17-21 in the deciding set to give Zhang Zhen Weiya the title. However, the duo only had themselves to blame for the defeat as they were leading at the halfway mark by 3 points and were also leading at 16-15 before losing out. The Switzerland Open is part of the BWF World Super 300 Tour BWF, which offers $16,590 to the winner of the mixed doubles competition, while the losers take home $7,980 plus BWF ranking points. Malaysia could possibly be in a dicey situation to conquer women's events in the 2023 SEA Games in Cambodia this May due to the exclusion of two national diving darlings, Datuk Pandalela Rinong and Nur Dabita Sabri. National Assistant Coach Datuk Leong Munyi admitted that she was slightly worried about the performance of the young divers in both events, women's 3-metre springboard and women's 10-metre platform. She also said that the emergence of Indonesian divers in the women's 3-metre springboard is also nothing to scoff at because they did really well in the last SEA Games. As for the women's 100-metre platform, both national divers who will be making their debut in the SEA Games are still new in the event. On the prospects of the men's squad, Munyi believed that her changes should not have any problems to show their prowess and dominate the pool at the aquatic centre, Morduk, Phnom Penh. In January, Munyi announced that the elite divers have been left out of the 2023 SEA Games to give exposure to local young divers at the international level. At the 2021 SEA Games in Hanoi, Vietnam last May, the national diving camp, which also featured Pandalela and Nur Dabita, made a clear sweep by taking home all 8 gold medals. Antonio Conte has left Tottenham by mutual agreement after 16 months in charge, the Premier League club announced on Sunday. His departure comes after the Italian's extraordinary post-match rant following a 3-3 draw at Southampton on 18th of March, a game in which they blew a 3-1 lead. The 53-year-old who took over in November 2021 will be replaced by his assistant Christian Stellini until the end of the season. Conte leaves the Spurs 4th in the Premier League, but only 2 points above 5th place, Newcastle, who have 2 games in hand on the London side in the race for Champions League qualification. Stellini previously stood in for Conte on the touchline this season when the Italian was recovering from gallbladder surgery. Conte won league titles in his previous 3 spells in club management at Juventus, Chelsea and Inter Milan, but was unable to end Tottenham's 15-year wait to win a major trophy. His contract was due to expire at the end of the season. Conte labelled his players selfish and accused them of not being able to perform under pressure in an extraordinary tirade after the draw against Southampton. He also took aim at Tottenham's long trophy drought and pinned the blame on a culture of repeatedly changing managers. On to the Euro 2024 qualifiers. Portugal's superstar Cristiano Ronaldo proved that he still has what it takes after his 2 goals contributed towards the 6-0 Luxembourg demolishing in Group G. Ronaldo opened up the feast of goals for Portugal as early as the 9th minute as he calmly slotted in the ball past Luxembourg keeper Anthony Morris. Chelsea striker João Félix and Manchester City midfielder Bernardo Silva then piled on the misery with 1 goal each. Luxembourg, still struggling to find the rhythm, were once again left in a daze when Ronaldo struck in the 31st minute, scoring his 122nd goal in 198 international appearances. After the break, Portugal's dominance did not subside as they scored 2 more goals, each contributed by Porto FC midfielder Otavia and AC Milan winger Rafael Dio. Portugal are currently in the top of Group J with 6 points. Carlos Alcaraz flattered aside Serbian Dusan Lajovic 6-0, 7-6 to keep his social defense on track as he cruises into the 4th round at the Miami Open yesterday. Alcaraz is looking for a 2nd consecutive title after his win at Indian Wells. Alcaraz made short work of the Serbian with a first set bagel, demonstrating his box of tricks with a selection of fizzing forehands, whipping winners and delicate drop shots. He needed a tie-break to get over the line in the second after a surprising late rally from the Serbian, but finished 91-minute match with 27 winners. Lajovic never threatened a comeback until Alcaraz was serving for the set when a couple of surprising unforced errors from the top seed gave the Serbian 2 break points. Next up for the 19-year-old is a clash with Australian Open semi-finalist Tommy Paul, who defeated Alejandro Davidovich Fokina in a straight sets to reach the fourth round. Alcaraz, who has won 16 of 17 matches this year and has not dropped a set in his past two tournaments, needs to win the title to stay top of the rankings. Now that concludes tonight's edition of News at 10. Hina top story: Malaysia and Cambodia looking to enhance cooperation and bilateral ties. Do tune in to updates at noon coming up tomorrow at 12:30 p.m. on TV2. You can also stream it via RTM's mobile click app. Till then, I'm Mira Zamri. Thank you for watching and have a good night.